Hello, stupid.
Hello. How are you?
Ooh, what a hello today. Hi, how are you?
I don't know. The inspiration took me and I just ran with it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's later than we usually record.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, for an evening recording sesh, I like how awake you are right now.
I felt like I needed to bring the energy.
Yeah. Well, I have a little green tea going here, so some caffeine in there. I mean, it's green tea. It's like calming me down at the same time.
I was going out the other night and I didn't want to stop by like the store to get like an energy drink or anything, but I was really like crashing. And so I made myself the most disgusting. Like I made a really strong Earl Grey and then mixed it with ice to have it cold. Then added too much lime juice and then topped it off with some water. And that was my
Ew.
like energy drink. It was
That
not
is
great.
so weird. That's such
Oh,
a
a few
hippie
dashes of
energy
honey.
drink.
Yeah.
Why the lime?
I just wanted to taste different than very strong Earl Grey.
I kind of want to try it, but it kind of sounds disgusting.
Desperate measures. I needed the
What about
caffeine.
just like good old coffee?
I was just in a rush. Well, I guess yeah, I could have made
Yeah,
something.
just in a rush, but I made strong Earl Grey with ice cubes, lime juice,
No,
honey.
I know. Listen, I don't know what the thought process was, but you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
exactly. It's your turn to present today. Do you know what
I
that
am
means?
so excited. I
I'm very
am
excited too, actually.
I'm excited. But let's not forget about your dad joke of the day.
Exactly. Sorry, I went into it too fast. That means I have a dad joke for
I know, I'm
you.
like, are you trying to avoid your dad joke?
No. You ready? All right.
Yeah.
Um, my friend claims that he glued himself to his autobiography. I don't believe him, but that's the story he's sticking to.
That
So
was actually good. At the start I was like, wait, what?
You're welcome. I have another one quickly.
Okay, let's do it.
What has five toes and isn't your foot?
Your hand? Oh,
My foot.
no.
Oh, that was
Okay.
the dorkiest laugh ever you just gave me there.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that one.
Okay.
I like the first one better. But
I
the
know.
second one was more dad like. The first one was just a good joke.
I mean, sure.
All right. So, my topic for you today
Ooh,
is
jumping
this
right
is
into it. Okay.
this is the first time we're going 4 days 4 episodes in,
Yeah,
and for I'm actually surprising you.
I know it is. It's true. I have no idea what it is.
Are you nervous?
No, I'm very excited because
What if
you're
it's something you
excited, so
hate?
I'm excited. Well,
Yeah, what if
um,
it's something you hate though?
I'll tell you right away.
Like, nope, we're not doing this shutdown.
Yeah.
Then tune in next week.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Okay,
Okay,
reveal,
so
reveal.
I know it's, festival related, but we're talking about the 60s. The
Oh,
60s was an era of civil rights. I see your face. I'm going to give you a chance to guess, but I'll give you a little like synopsis here.
okay, do it, do
We
it.
had fighting for women's rights, Vietnam War, Stonewall, assassinations. We also had camper vans, tie dyes, the peace signs, and sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Are you doing Woodstock?
I'm doing Woodstock.
Yay! Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh, great. I'm super excited.
I'm like, do you know much about Woodstock?
No, nothing other than the big cliches that like people were just rolling around in the mud for like 10 days, I guess,
Yeah,
and that
10 days.
it was the most amazing experience ever, but also the most horrible thing in the world.
Right? And you know what's so funny? Because I felt like I've heard so many pop culture references of Woodstock, the summer of
Hmm.
'69, all of that, but I'm like, "What was Woodstock?" And
Yeah,
I
like
guess
the
we'll
same.
find out.
It's. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out. Also, I just clicked that like it was summer of '69. I just clicked that was about Woodstock.
Okay, it's not actually. So the
Oh,
whole time I was doing my research, I thought the same thing. I was like, summer of '69. I was gonna start off our thing with it. But I don't think I believe it's a Bryan Adams song, is about that.
okay.
Um, but you
Well
know
then,
what? Let's just make it about that.
let's just. It's gonna be in my head all for the rest of this recording session. So,
Okay, it was in my head this whole week while I was doing my research. But it all did begin in the summer of '69 on August 15th. We had about 500,000 people come to a dairy farm in Bethel, New York for a 3-day music festival. Not a 10-day, a 3-day.
a 3 day. Okay, wait. Half a billion. You said
500,000.
half a million. Jesus, still, and a dairy farm.
A dairy farm. And you know what? I was like, so wait, Woodstock wasn't in Woodstock, New York?
Right.
And it wasn't. So we'll find out a bit more why it ended up in Bethel, New York. So it was started by Michael Lang, who previously had organized a festival in Miami. And then he was joined by 3 other entrepreneurs. They formed um, Woodstock Ventures. And they decided to host this music festival. His previous music festival was also a disaster of its own. Um,
Okay.
but I don't know why he had the balls to do another one, but he did. So they did name it after Woodstock, New York, and Woodstock, New York at that time was an upcoming new spot for smaller festivals in the woods. But the town had actually denied their request because they were scared of large crowds, which makes
Right.
sense, right?
Yeah.
So a
Yeah.
month away from the festival, they were scrambling for a venue. I know, right?
Sounds familiar.
That's exactly. I'm like, Fire Festival.
Yeah.
Um, But so then they were approached by a dairy farmer named Max Yasgur, who offered them a deal to use their farm, and they went with it. And it was in Bethel, New York. And you know what? It kind of sounded like the perfect location to me. It was a dairy farm that was sloped like an amphitheater. There was a lake. The areas were lined by trees, and it was relatively isolated. So I think what they wanted it to be was a peaceful music festival, and I felt like they found the good venue for that.
Right. Right. Do you say they were approached by the farmer? Like the.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess they were looking for an area, and he wanted to make some more money, and he was like, "Hey, use my dairy farm."
Round. Cool. Okay.
Right? So now they have a venue, they have talent booked, but they're a month away, right? So they got to
Right.
get to constructing. They needed fencing, entrance gates, ticket booths, um, performers, pavilions, concession stands, bathrooms, medical tents, all that, right? Um,
Ugh.
I can't even imagine like building
This is
that in
giving
less
me
than a
like
month.
also like nightmare flashback to Oshiaga Festival this summer. Like just I'm having anxiety already just anticipating what's happening about like gates, fences, crowds. Ugh.
Well, like I feel like in this day and age, they've kind of got it down where it's like, there's a concert happening here in a week and then they start building and it's ready the next week. But
Oh
I
yeah,
feel
the
like in the
preparation must be like half the
60s,
year.
yeah, in the 60s, I'm like, I feel like you need at least, yeah, a year to 6 months. And they're 5 weeks away or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, so then, according to Michael Lang, in an interview he did for The Telegraph, he said, "You do everything you can to get the gates and the fences finished, but you have your priorities. People are coming, you need to be able to feed them, take care of them, and give them a show. So you have to prioritize." So they decided to make
Oh no.
Woodstock Music Festival a free for all. Right? So I'm like, where is your revenue coming from? Did you think this through? But clearly they're like, people are coming. We need to not get
Figures
arrested.
out. Yeah. Yeah. Deal with it afterwards, right?
Yeah. So basically, people did buy tickets ahead of time, and I'm not too sure what happened if they got refunded or not. But the 3-day tickets were sold for $18 ahead of time, which is $120 in today's dollar
That's still super cheap.
for a 3-day festival. And they had some big names show up.
Yeah, like those artists were already really big.
Exactly. Um, and then um, and then they were gonna sell it for $24 at the gate, which would be $160 today. But they ended up not selling anything at the gate, and people
Wait,
would
what do you
just.
mean?
So it was a free for all, like it was free.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh.
So basically, like, okay, think of this: you're in the '60s, right? They don't have time to build fences at this point, so they're like, let's just get these stages ready, the tents ready, um, concession stands ready, and then also people are coming from across the country and people are already there. Some people have started camping on the site for a week. So you
Right, right,
can't
right.
now like kick them out because they don't have fences.
Oh. Wow, so there was just no time to build fences, so they just couldn't charge.
Exactly.
That's insane.
And I think that's how they reached a number like 500,000 people, you know?
Yeah, you're kidding. It's free.
Right? I'm like, I didn't have texting, but I'm sure you found out like from across the state that, hey, this still is free. I have a day to make it. But as you can imagine, highways and local roads were at a standstill. And because, yeah, the town was not expecting this, it was not built for this. So people just simply like abandoned their cars and started trekking the rest of the way on
Walking
foot.
there.
Exactly. And then that being
Wow.
said, festival's about to start, but the performers can't make it
Oh, because they're stuck. They can't.
because no
What
one
a
imagined it being
mess.
this big. So then they found one performer that was supposed to perform later in the day, but they're like, "You're here, you're performing," and then they had to get a helicopter to get the rest of performers to come in and out of the venue.
So had they like already published the lineup? Is that why people were like so excited to get there?
Exactly, yeah. So the first day was supposed to be like a hippie folk day, and then the second day was a bit more rock and roll.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, I think they did have a lineup because they did have the talent secured for a while, and I guess that's what they used to sell tickets.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think people were, planning on buying their tickets when they get there, or just like kind of be around for the hype, maybe not even go. And then they found out they're free, and they're like, "Oh, let's just all go."
I mean, like, yeah, it's free. Like, I would
Exactly.
do a road trip to some random festival like that if I was like, hey, like, apparently they don't charge.
Right? And imagine there was a big festival here, and I
Actually, I
texted
really
you.
wouldn't. I would hate that. No.
Well, maybe like 18-year-old you would have,
18-year-old me would have,
right?
definitely. Yes,
Exactly.
100%.
Oh my god, that's
Do
so
you know
funny.
who the lineup was?
Yeah, I have. Okay, so I'm not a like I don't know '60s music that well, but Richie Havens he opened. We had
Okay.
Quill, Santana, and then some. The two names that I do recognize is the Who and Jimi Hendrix. He's the one who
Oh,
closed out
yeah.
on the.
Santana's pretty big too.
Exactly, yeah. I'm like Santana I've heard of. I think Quill as well. In total, they had 32 performers or 32
Okay, wow.
musicians.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a combination of local and like just world famous talent.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, the lack of preparation, the scramble to get ready last minute was kind of a recipe for disaster. But surprisingly, there were only minor injuries reported, really. So we had food poisoning, sunburns, and a lot of wounded bare feet because people were just walking around barefoot.
Fucking
Um,
hippies.
right.
Sorry.
And okay, wait, thinking of hippies, like you're imagining like lots of drugs and lots of overdoses, but there was only one death with like drug related death reported, and then another
Mm.
death that was just a teenager who passed away after being run over by a tractor. So for 500,000 people, like
Wait, what? Wait, back up.
just a tractor run over.
Just like your run of the mill tractor
I'm thinking
accident.
like a kid fell asleep on a hill and then in the middle of the night a tractor ran him over.
Sure.
Right?
That's a likely scenario. Let's go with that.
On a dairy farm in the middle of a
Yeah.
music festival.
Yeah.
But honestly, for like 500,000 people, two deaths, I'm like, that's
No,
a win.
that's you see, yeah. Um I don't know if that's is if it's just a thing Boomer says or it's like a real thing, but I feel like drugs back then were less dangerous. Like we're not as like you didn't overdose as easily as you do today
Yeah,
because everything's just laced with fentanyl now and stuff.
true. It was in synthetic probably back then.
Mm.
Is
Yes,
that
dude,
it? Is that
organic shit.
Yeah. I grew this
I don't know.
myself, man.
We clearly know so much about this, both of us.
Oh my god. Okay, I have a pop quiz for you. Are you ready?
All right, sure.
What animal was at the festival? So there's a picture of an animal at Woodstock. What animal? I have four options here. Okay?
Okay,
A
thank you.
donkey, B horse, C monkey, or D eagle.
Oh, my first instinct was going to be like llama, but obviously it's not a choice. So I'm going to go with monkey.
No way. You got it. I was surprised.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, like some like people in like the 60s and 70s were obsessed with monkeys.
Right? It made me laugh. I found a photo of the monkey at Woodstock. It's a cute little
Ooh, let me
monkey.
see.
Yeah, let me send it to you. It was posted by radiox dot uk dot co. But the caption made me laugh. It's like bizarrely, one of the photos taken at the festival shows a couple with their pet monkey, shades of Ross from Friends and Marcel. This seems cruel today, but 50 years ago, and animal rights was still in its infancy. Wonder if this monkey had a good time. It made me laugh
Oh
that, like,
my
yep,
god.
animal rights did not exist back then. This monkey was probably on LSD
Yes.
and had a groovy time.
Also, like that little blanket, that little like how'd you call those? Wait, what'd you call those blankets? Quilt,
Quilts?
quilt. Yeah,
Yeah,
is like everyone's mom had one of those, exactly like that. That like beige and
every
pink one.
hippie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, for safety, there was only about a dozen cops on the festival grounds for all these people. But Woodstock Ventures did think this one through. They turned to Hog Farm. Hog Farm is a commune pig farm from New Mexico.
What?
Yeah, so they flew over this commune. It was established by Hugh Romney, and he called himself Wavy Gravy. And they
Ew.
were
No.
I love it. I want to call myself Wavy Gravy.
No, please don't.
And instead of being a police force, they call themselves a please force. So they would
What?
politely tell people to
Wait.
stop doing things, right?
Okay.
I was like, this is the coolest thing. I wish this is at every festival I ever go to. Um,
Wait,
and
I'm
they
so
did,
confused. Like, what's up with the hogs, though?
well, that was just their name. They called themselves the Hog Farm.
Oh,
Um,
okay,
well,
okay. I
and
thought that
also
like they
because,
had pigs.
well, they're from a pig farm. So I think they just like, or they just,
What's
they're
happening?
like, we're cool pig people, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, but okay, my favorite part about this is that they set up freakout tents for people that are going through bad trips.
Aw,
Right?
that's actually very kind.
I think that's a good thing because, like, obviously, drugs are involved at every festival.
Yeah.
And then if you're going through a bad trip, you're like, oh God, I don't want to go to the medical tent because I'm going to get arrested. So you just go to a freakout tent and you're
I
surrounded by
wonder what's
these
in the freak out
pig
tent.
people. I,
Probably a lot of
I,
soft pillows.
exactly. I imagine soft pillows, soft music, and you can just nap there.
Yeah. Hopefully snacks.
Yeah. And water. Um, yeah, like we talked about the performers at the festival. There are some big names that were asked to perform but declined, like the Beatles, Led Zeppelin,
Right.
and Rolling Stone, because they were doing other bigger things at the time.
Right.
And then overall, even with the torrential downpour during the festival, it was a hit, right? But the aftermath of this festival was another story. Just like this festival was just an organizational disaster, nothing was really planned properly. And obviously, they didn't really get much revenue out of it, from what I'm thinking. They didn't really have a plan to clean up, right?
Oh,
So it was declared a disaster area by the county.
actually, oh my god,
Yeah.
that's so dramatic.
Which I'm like, okay, like hippies, all this peace, love. Clearly they don't know about reduce, recycle, reuse, you know? No
Yeah.
one cleaned up after themselves. And then just like the way it was when they arrived, leaving the venue was insane. And
Wait, so it was 3 days?
3 days, yep.
Um, okay, and then everyone just obviously arrived at the same time, and everyone leaves at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think some people might have arrived the next day or something, but yeah, everyone leaves at the same time. No one really
Oh, when you
stays,
go at
sticks around.
festivals or when you go at concerts, like, are you like the kind of person who's like, oh, I'm gonna wait for like the encore stuff like that? It's like perfect, or are you just more like, okay, that was the last song, I'm out of here fast?
Okay, so I like to wait around, but I think I am always with people that wants to be like, let's get the F out of here
Mm.
before there's lineups. So yeah, I get it. And okay, remember when we went to that festival in Montreal this summer?
Yeah, Oshiaga.
No, the one I went to, the little picnic.
Oh, Picnic Electronic. Yeah,
Exactly. I was so surprised by how like peacefully people were just leaving.
yeah.
Where like every festival I've went to, people were just are all over the place, and you just were like, yeah, you want to leave early so you're not stuck with the psychos at the end.
Yeah, but we didn't take the metro though. I feel like that's where the chaos is.
Yeah.
We took it. Like I'm more like I will stay toward till the end, but then I don't mind chilling out even longer afterwards to wait it out.
And that's
I'm
what
like
we
I
did. We
also
kind
don't
of
want to.
sat
Yeah,
around.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Because I also don't want to deal with the crowd, but I'm not. I'm not getting in a rush to leave before everyone.
exactly. But I do feel like if I was at Woodstock, with all the rain that they got hit with and with what a mess it kind of I feel like I imagine it being. And you're camping out there, right? You're not
Yeah, you're done after 3 days. You don't want to wait around for the crowd to
yeah, I'm
dissipate.
not going to a hotel every night. I am camping, so I would
Yeah,
probably want to get the F out of there.
yeah. True. You. Oh, can you imagine? No.
Yeah. But that was Woodstock 69. But how many Woodstocks do you think happened in total? So after Woodstock of 1969, how many more do you think took place? I'll give you options again.
Okay.
A, four more, B, five more, or C, two more.
Um, two more?
Oh, no way. I'm like, did you know that one?
No, I didn't. No. Really? Okay. Okay. I
Yeah,
was actually trying to guess wrong.
actually.
Yes.
Okay, I have a bonus
Okay,
question
two
for
more.
you here. When do you
Go.
think the other two happened?
When?
Yeah.
I don't know, like the two following years?
No. Try again. I'm kidding. It's okay
Is
though.
there
There's no
there
options for
was
this
was
one.
one like really recently too?
No.
Okay, okay.
I don't know what you consider recently, but it
I'm gonna
wasn't in
say
the six.
randomly
It
like
was in the 70s or 80s.
I'm gonna say 1992.
Oh, close. The next one we'll talk about is Woodstock in 1994.
1994. Oh, I was close.
Yeah, you were.
Wait, I can't wait. Were they all a disaster?
They get worse.
Oh no. Okay, let's go.
So, Woodstock 1994 took place on the 25th anniversary of the Woodstock Music Festival in 96, or sorry, 69. So they promoted this one as two more days of peaceful music. And then
Mhm.
later, third festival day was added on. Again, the numbers surpassed what they were expecting. And they only had a simple chain barrier link around the festival grounds. So again, I'm like, did you not learn from the first time? But I guess they were
Wild.
like,
Why?
I
Were
guess
they
they were like,
charging this time?
they were charging this time. Yes. I think this time though, they're like, oh, like, let's keep to the theme of not having, something to block it. So they did chain barrier links. But,
Oh no.
um,
Do you know if it was the same people in charge?
you know what? Good
Same
question.
corporation?
I'm not too sure. Let's look that up.
When you say chain barrier link, you mean like literally like a pole, two poles with a chain in between?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh yeah, it was the same people. Well, it says it's founded by the same people. So Woodstock
It's the same
Ventures.
corporation or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing so. Um, but obviously, yeah, this chain barrier link doesn't keep people out, so people were easily able to sneak in and just sneak
Yeah.
in their own booze and drugs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and like it's funny, a lot of the attendees weren't even born when the first Woodstock took place. Yeah, just a very, group of people that probably heard about Woodstock 69 and were really excited to kind of recreate it. But we're talking about the 90s now, right? Um, so now
Right.
obviously as the 90s, it was just overly commercialized. This wasn't free. And the concert organizers were really trying to make money this time. So they had merch, um, all of
Mm.
that stuff set up.
Was there a
And
good lineup this time also?
let's see here. I think it was a decent lineup. And you know what? They opened with the same guy that opened the first one as well. So I believe that was Richie Havens. They kind of
Interesting.
tried to keep the theme similar, but it's a different era we're talking about. One thing
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was similar was the weather. There was heavy rain again, and this one got very muddy.
Oh no.
Hmm. Um, there were over 1,000 injuries reported. So
Oof.
yeah, it was no more the peace and love that we saw in 69. And we'll go into the third one really quickly, and that's the one that took
Okay.
place in 1999. And this one was a real disaster. So sticking to the theme of 90s, it was just overpriced, right? Um,
So you said the first one's 94 and
yeah.
it was a 25-year reunion?
So this is the 30th one.
Oh, it's 30. Okay, I was like, what's the math here? Okay, 30th year. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm thinking they're like, "Oh, let's just try and make it happen one more
Yeah,
time,"
yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this one was overpriced. I listened to this really good podcast that's called "What It Was Like," and they interviewed two festival goers that were actually arrested during that festival. They
Oh.
described this one as more of like a frat boy theme party than like the hippie peace
Oh.
love party, and
That does feel right for 1999,
that's literally what I was about to say. I'm like, and I feel like this shows exactly the difference between the eras.
right?
This festival is frequently kind of referred to as the one that was a disaster, and they kind of refer to the day the 90s died.
Oh, so dramatic. Music people are so dramatic. I love it.
Exactly. And I feel like, especially when you're thinking of the 60s and then what the 90s became, I'm like, I see it. I see it.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like they should recreate one now in like the 2000s.
I
Or
mean, I feel like at this point, just the name is cursed.
I feel like we should have one. We should do it again. I mean, maybe
Only to
that's
do a
what the
follow up
fire
episode.
festival was.
Maybe that's what the Fire
That's
Festival
what he
was.
was
There
trying
you
to
go.
do, yeah. And he called it the fire festival because he's like, oh, because we're going to talk about fire in the 1999 one.
Oh
So maybe that's
no.
why. But yeah, this festival turned into a riot really quickly. Um, Basically, this time the heat was just unbearable. They didn't have that much
The
rain.
heat?
Yeah, they didn't have that much rain, but it was the heat this time. But the rain would have came handy because the water supply was very limited and super costly.
Where was this one happening?
It was in Rome, New York. I
Oh,
believe all three of them were in New York.
in New York. Okay.
And I think that's why they had such a big crowd come each time too, because I feel like New
Mm,
York's pretty like central in the United States and has a big population itself. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, water cost about $4, and I was like, that's like prices now. And also,
Right.
I've never been to a festival where you have to pay for water. You usually have water stations, right? And you bring your water bottle.
True. Or you pay for the first water bottle and just refill it for the rest of the day.
Exactly. But this one, it was not free. and it was very small, short supply and so expensive. And at one point, the podcast I was listening to, the two people that they interviewed said that at one point they were going through a bad trip. They really wanted water, couldn't find water anywhere. They found this man with a hose, just,
Oh,
dirty water pouring out of the hose. And then they found used water bottles on the ground and then had to randomly refill it just so they could drink water because they're on
oh
drugs.
no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds miserable.
Yep.
Okay, wait. Maybe this is super controversial, but did you ever drink water from a hose when you were a kid?
Um,
It's
I'm trying to
I
think.
can't think of anything more quenching in my
I
mind right
know.
now than water straight from the
I'm
hose.
like, I just remember it being very cold. And it just
Yeah.
hurt, like,
You have to let it run a bit though, because otherwise it tastes like rubber.
yeah. And then it was just coming at you so fast.
Also that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you put your mouth on it until like you can't anymore.
Oh,
Just
I no. Oh my god. It was remind me not to use your hoses when I come over.
we were outside kids. We were like, go play outside, come back for some dinner.
Yeah. You're like, I don't need water. I have a hose here.
Exactly.
That's so funny. Well, yeah, no, I don't think that. I mean, I guess that is how they felt when they drank water from the hose. Um,
That must be.
must be
They were on drugs. It must have made it better.
exactly, yeah. Yeah, so this disaster festival was also encouraged by kind of the performers to be a disaster. So, a band name
Oh.
Insane Clown Posse decided to throw $100 bills into the crowd. And obviously, being at an overpriced concert, this created mayhem. Many performers like encouraged the crowd to fuck shit up. Um,
Oh.
Oh, and this time, for the fencing, they used plywood, right? So they had like plywood boards around the venue to keep people out. And
They really don't want to invest in good fences, eh?
right,
Like that's their theme. Like they don't. They want like they fence is not where you should be like trying to save a dime.
exactly. And then also like the performers told people to tear the boards down. So I'm like, this is not helpful. I feel like you should have more control over your performers.
Yeah. Do we know what kind of music it was this time? That feels very like punk ska for me, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it was a bit. Yeah, it was punks. It was. I think like the theme of Woodstock is a bit more rock and roll.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. This time there was a lot more. I mean, a crazy amount of sexual assaults reported. Uh,
Oh no.
there's incidents of crowd surfing gone wrong, where females are crowd surfing and getting groped or being held
Ugh.
down.
Oh
I
no.
know people were constantly shouting, "Show your tits," taking non-consensual photos of women, and just like overall shitty and unsafe behavior. I
Ugh.
know that's just a bad taste in my mouth about Woodstock. And then at the end, a fire broke out.
Oh my
So
god.
when the Red Hot Chili Peppers played a cover of um, I
Ironic.
know. I literally was thinking the same thing. And it's so funny, ironic, because they played the cover of Jimi Hendrix's song Fire and
Oh no.
during their festival closing set. And it was a tribute to Woodstock 69, where Jimi Hendrix played the
Right.
song. This kind of led to people trashing the festival grounds. They created bonfires in the crowd. People were flipping over vehicles and setting fire to it and just like destroying the merch tents and all the tents.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so this is the real fire festival.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's why we can't have nice things.
Exactly. Typical 90s behavior. I'm not shocked.
Yeah, same. I was just gonna say.
Right? And like from like a free concert of in 69 where it's all peace, love, monkeys in the crowd, to this, I'm like, I can see how they just took a name and turned it into something horrible. Surprisingly, only 3 deaths were reported.
That's good.
Yeah. And
And surprising, like you said.
yeah. And 44 people were arrested, reported arrested. Yeah, that
Hmm.
podcast where the two guys that were, well, one of them was arrested, one of them was just his friend. He was kind of
Hmm.
arrested over something he didn't even do, which is crazy.
I
Um,
mean, sure.
I believed him.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I felt
Well,
like
that's like feels like, I mean, not a big amount of arrest for the amount of stuff that was going on. You're saying, like, I'm thinking especially like all the sexual assault. I guess
totally.
like that goes unreported a lot in
But
festivals.
I'm thinking about like how I don't think they're able to arrest people easily in festivals in general, you know? I don't think
No,
there's that
there's
much of a
probably
big crowd police presence in festivals either way.
no. Festivals are scary.
Yeah.
Like I I might be just aging into like an anxious person, but like I find festivals scary now. Like it feels like there's too many people, not enough exits, not enough um paramedics,
I totally agree. And you know what?
and too many young people.
Fucking
I am
kids.
aggressive.
But
Yeah.
you know what? I my first festival after COVID, and like now it's like now yeah, they have ways to keep people out with actual fences and stuff like that. But then that gets me thinking, if there's an incident, how am I getting out of here? Like how are you
Yeah.
getting out if you're fast enough and you're not, you know?
Yeah.
If there's a fire at a festival now, I can't imagine like what would happen. Then I think about like, you know, the Travis Scott concert where it turned into like mosh pit basically in a way where people got trampled.
Oh, yeah.
Or like the bombing at the Ariana Grande concert. It just
Wait, what?
yeah. In Manchester, it was a terrorist attack at her concert in Manchester. I believe it was a terrorist attack. And so many like young girls or boys passed away. It was so tragic, or their
Oof.
parents. Um yeah, no, I
Oh.
don't think I do well with crowds either. But I do think like if I was alive in the 60s, like going to Woodstock would have been so iconic.
Well, I'm also like now that I'm thinking about it, with the way it was set up and like free and like no rules, free for all kind of thing.
Mhm.
Surprising that it went so well.
Mhm. And it's I think it went so well because it's that one thing, like one time that something happens by accident and goes so well, and then no matter how many times you try and recreate it, it's never gonna be that good.
No, it's just like the vibes were really right that time.
Yeah, exactly. And like I feel like the people that do call it a disaster are probably either referring to the one in 94 or 99, or that are just like these fucking kids kind of people from the 60s. You know, because I think in the 60s when
Yeah,
there was so much happening, like there were so many assassinations, so many different civil like rights movements, and the Vietnam
yeah,
War. If you weren't preparing to go to war or you had someone you loved at war, you shouldn't be like you should just be doing that. Like, but these kids found
yeah,
music as their little like getaway from it all, you know?
yeah, yeah. And the whole like peaceful thing was like almost like a protest movement, right?
Exactly.
So like yeah, the circumstances were just really, really right for that to happen and to not be a total disaster. But then, like you said, recreating it, it feels impossible and dangerous even to try.
I know. And it like just breaks my heart seeing from what a beautiful thing it was and what they were fighting for in the 60s to what it became in the 90s.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like sexual assaults and all of that at a concert where like you're just there to enjoy music,
yeah.
or like performers telling you to fuck shit up. I don't agree with any of that. Um
No.
and I like okay, so one thing I kept thinking of is like why is Woodstock referred to so much? Cuz there were so many more concerts back in the days. But
Hmm.
like the only one that sticks out to me is Woodstock. That's the only name I've heard of, and I don't know about you.
I was gonna ask you earlier. I was gonna ask you if like was it one of the first kind of music festivals, but then I didn't because I was like, no, that's a dumb question. There must have been so many.
Yeah, it is a dumb I'm kidding, no.
Yeah.
No, 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 you're totally right, and you answered it yourself. There were so many, but because this one, I think, had the largest, attendance, um,
Right.
it became a lot bigger, and I guess because it was a kind of an organizational failure, it made it what it was. I think another reason that it became so big was that it was made into a movie, and then the movie won an, Academy Award for the best documentary feature in 1970s.
Oh, interesting. I did
So
not
I
know
feel
that.
like people were able to like watch that movie or documentary and feel like, oh, they went there. And it did define that era in a way. I think when you think of the music of that of the 60s.
Right.
There's also another one that I just watched this documentary. It's from 2019 called Woodstock 3 Days That Defined That Generation. That's really good as well. And it kind of talks a lot about the 60s. Um and it doesn't really like it doesn't it shows I feel like a really realistic side to Woodstock. It doesn't make it seem as amazing as some articles online do, and it doesn't also make it seem like a
Hmm.
disaster like some articles do. I think it shows like a perfect in between.
Okay. So it's like more objective kind of thing.
Yeah, and I believe it's on Netflix.
Oh, I might watch that actually. That sounds interesting.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. Um yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think I'm over concerts and fest oh no, well, I like festivals more than concerts, I'll say that. Because that way you're paying to see a lot more people and you have choices.
Hmm.
And I feel like going to concerts, like, unless you're obsessed with that artist, it's a big commitment to go. uh,
Yeah, I find concerts very, very, very long too. Um, it's just it feels like I don't really listen to whole albums in on my phone in general. Like
mhm.
I want something new. I want a different artist every now and then, stuff like that. So like to sit down and to listen to like 3 hours of the same artist singing feels like a lot for me. I know it's not like everyone's opinion. Like Justin, my partner, is like such a fanboy. He loves going to concerts. He'll go to concerts at every opportunity. But like I'm like you. I like a festival where there's like variety more and it's short. It's more short little like performances.
Exactly. And I just feel like prices right now for concerts are insane, where like festivals are almost the same price, even though it's for multiple days. You can sometimes buy just a day pass. And I'm
That's true.
like, and then I have choices. I rather do that, you know?
Yeah, in theory, yes, but um, I was it was kind of miserable experience when I went this summer, just because there was so many people.
Mhm.
Which made sense because there were some big artists, like the lineups were amazing, but moving around was impossible. It felt also very much just people getting shit faced and getting as drunk as they could. It felt rowdy, it felt violent, and that's really not the vibe for Montreal usually.
Yeah,
But I think because the names attract so many people from all around,
true.
that the vibes are off.
True. I feel like it's more tourists than like actual locals that go to Osheaga.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
and I don't know. It's but I don't like your story kind of left a like bitter taste in my mouth. Like it feels like, oh yeah, like it's hard to recreate those experiences. We're not those people anymore, and we do ruin everything for ourselves. Wow, I'm dark tonight.
I feel like okay, I feel like it's like when something happens once, it's so perfect. Everything aligns and it happens that
Hmm.
once that it's so hard to recreate that feeling. That's how I kind of think about like Coachella. I've never been, but like
Right.
Coachella was probably happening for years. And then that one time where like all celebrities went, but also like such big name celebrities were performing, and then they had that Tupac hologram perform. And I think that was
Yeah.
like a huge year for Coachella. And it was so
Right.
amazing. And then since then, I feel like people are going and trying to recreate that huge year, and it's just not happening, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
What's the one in the desert? Also, was it that a
Burning
disaster this year?
Man.
Burning Man was a disaster this year.
I
Also,
and you know what? When I was reading about how muddy the 1994 one was, I was like, that gives me Burning Man vibes, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know
Yeah.
what? Shout out to the people that like go to festival, rain, mud, no
Or
matter
shine.
what, right?
Yeah.
Because I know for me, I'd be out of there as quickly as I can. But I think I've seen videos online of people at Burning Man this year that enjoyed it, and they're like, it's all about helping each other out. I feel like Burning Man kind of gives me Woodstock vibes.
Yeah, yeah, it would be similar. I mean, I've never been. I don't know if I have interest in
Hmm.
going. It feels like quite a commitment, also.
Hmm.
But yeah, it feels more like those vibes too.
Yeah, I think I do want to do one last festival outside of North America. I've done
Yeah.
I've done like a good amount in North America. I don't think I'm going to miss out on any more. I would like to go to one in Europe if I can, even like India.
Ooh.
I feel like the
Yeah, like
music
in
scene in
Goa.
Goa is so cool that I would really enjoy that.
Yeah, yeah. We should try to catch Tomorrowland in Europe someday.
Yeah. I've heard so many good things
Although,
like
like, clock is ticking on
I
that one
was
because I'm quickly getting too old for
I know. I know,
that.
but music has no age.
That's true.
No, I'm kidding. I have an age and I don't know if I could do
Yeah.
this um a lot
You know
later in
what I
life.
feel like, especially like the peace and love vibe and stuff like that? I feel like maybe it's just a really big events that we can't recreate that anymore. Because when I think at Pride parties and Pride festivals, like I do get those vibes every time, and it is in some way a music festival. I mean, there's a lineup of DJs that come on. You dance all night. There's parties for 2 3 days and stuff like that. So I would consider that like a music festival. And then Picnic Electronic in Montreal during the winter, it's like a lineup of DJ every Sundays and stuff like that. It's much more small. It's a much smaller scale,
Mhm.
but we are able to achieve those vibes there.
Totally. And you know what? I think, yeah, like it doesn't mean like, I think it's just maybe because like, for me, it was going to a festival after COVID that crowds just gave me so much anxiety.
Yeah,
I
that's also
think that
possible
was a
too.
big factor for me. I'm sure if there was no COVID and I was still comfortable with crowds, I would have been totally fine, you know? And I think it just depends. Like some people, you could just grow out of it and stuff like that. I think you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
recreate
also
those
true.
vibes for sure. And I think there's something to be said for when you're like, young and don't have anxiety yet. Uh, that like, yeah, like you probably feel that way. Like, I'm trying to think of like one of the first festivals I've been to, and yeah, I feel like I was so careless of like that I didn't care. I had so much fun.
What's the last festival you've been to?
I picnic with you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that
Or
counts.
then EDC.
Which is counts much
Yeah,
more.
and when was that? 2 years ago, I guess. Um, but I think yeah, for me, I like picnic. I like the picnic kind of festival more,
Vibe.
the smaller one. It just felt chiller while EDC is just a whole behemoth of its own. Um, Huge, so fun, but I don't know if that's something I can do again. And I just yeah, like
Yeah,
big North American festivals I don't think are for me.
that's I. Yeah, I get that. I'm not sure I can say exactly why,
Mhm.
but it feels like, yeah, we're struggling there.
Yeah. But I do feel like if they ever tried to recreate Woodstock, I'd be tempted to want to go. After just like reading about how crazy it was. If they could recreate like Woodstock in the 60s, I would want to go.
Yeah,
Have you done a festival
yeah,
with
no, for
camping?
sure. No, I have some friends who do like more like rave festivals and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Um, I well, you know me. It's the same for like your wedding. Like my big concern is that I can't leave, and there's people who are always there all the time. Where do I get my alone
Yeah.
time? Like I think that's my biggest concern with these things. Like I love camping. I'm not opposed to sleeping into a tent, but I would need some privacy every now and then.
Mhm. My husband's done one of those ones and like he had fun, but I feel like now he probably wouldn't do it as he's gotten older. Um, I don't know if I'd want to do a camping festival just because I'm like those are two different activities for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to put them together. Because also, like, for girls, like, for festivals, like, we like to dress up, you know? And, like,
Yeah, and like you want a hot shower at the end of the
right?
day, and you want to like be hangover in bed the next morning
Mm,
before going out again. Like I'm not opposed to a multiple day festival, but like with a comfortable Airbnb, it's gonna be
yeah,
way overpriced.
exactly. And then, like, $100 Uber to get there and back.
Yeah, exactly. So Goa 2024, is that what we're saying?
Let's do it. I think I'd love that.
Yeah. It's not the first time that we talk about going to Goa, actually, the two of us. We should
Yeah.
make it happen.
I really want to make it happen. Let's do it for our birthdays.
Yes. Okay, that's way too
I know.
soon. There's no way we could put that together.
Thank you for being honest. As I said that,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay,
2025.
sounds good.
Cool. Well, that was interesting. I admittedly knew nothing about Woodstock at all.
Same. I was so taken back when because I just like looked into it and I was like, wait, what? And you're right. All I knew about Woodstock was Summer of '69, which isn't even about Woodstock.
I'm gonna be singing that all
I
night.
know. And that's all you know about the song, right, too? Do you know more than that?
It is, yeah. No, it's pretty much all I know. Okay, so should we close this episode on us harmonizing on Summer of
Okay,
'69?
let's go. One, two.
Let's start at it was,
Okay.
okay? One, two, three. It was no, you have to go.
I love how into it you got. Oh my god.
It was a summer of
I
'69.
love it.
Okay,
I'm
wow.
gonna let you end it on that note. Beautiful.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Tell Me Like I'm Stupid is created and produced by us, Saniya and Thomas. You can follow us on Instagram at Tell Me Like I'm Stupid.
If you'd like to support us, please subscribe and review on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Our cover art was created by Ish. Find him on Instagram at h.e.e.s.h.
Thank you for listening.